Guruve Gauri Chanjaya Radhika Etadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dandavat Pranam devotees. So this is a really brief Q&A session. There were some questions that came in that I primarily replied directly to those persons who were asking. And I'm just some of them are follow-up to questions that were already answered, and some are questions that came in that I've actually answered before, we've discussed before. Dandavat, Southern Siddha Prabhu, Bhakti-Siddhanta Prabhu. So I'm not doing a prolonged session here, just very short answers basically based on those factors. So one was a devotee who wrote, and they were asking about why it is that as expansive as the Gaudiya philosophy is, so much time is spent in sort of manual activity, like going out distributing books, other kinds of services, and there doesn't appear to be much emphasis on going deep into the philosophy of bhakti. So I can't really say that that's fully correct, in the sense that even if you look at our Goswami Varga, Shri Rup Goswami Pad, Shri Sanatana Goswami Pad, and all of our Goswami Varga, Mahaprabhu sent them to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, they were not simply absorbed in the manifesting of the teachings of Mahaprabhu, our philosophical foundation, but they very actively built temples, wrote books, interacted with Brijabasis there in preaching. So it wasn't that it was a one-dimensional phenomenon where people just studied philosophy or wrote philosophy and there were no pragmatic manifestations of service. So in the same way, of course, and this is throughout Gaudiya history, and if you look in the teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu and in the Leela of Mahaprabhu, you'll also find that there was a great amount of practical service that was done. One of the key factors here is that in maturation in bhakti, a person doesn't make a distinction between what is practically being done and what is philosophically being understood and eventually realized. Because the services that are done, whether it is washing dishes, cleaning the temple, serving Thakurji, distributing books, preaching, is all part of the internal potency of Bhagavan. Because if bhakti is based on rendering service to Bhagavan, which it is, anya abhilasita sunya jnana karmadya navartam anukulyena Krishna anusilanam bhakti uttam. So anusilanam, the word seal, is the dhatu for the word silanam. And this seal dhatu means endeavors. Those endeavors are body, mind, and moods. So it is not just sort of an internal phenomenon. It is a complete phenomenon where everything is engaged. So in maturation, as I was saying, a mature devotee doesn't see a distinction in those things because they're being offered to Bhagavan, and one realizes Attahashi Krishna Namani Nabhavat Grahimindriyat, that with our external senses we can't actually have connection with Bhagavan. Grahimindriya means material senses. They cannot actually serve Bhagavan. So it means if you're washing dishes, cleaning a bathroom, whatever you're doing has to be a transcendental empowerment in the senses for that to become a seva in bhakti. So try to understand this deeply. It becomes seva by the infusing of bhakti, not by the external activity. So that infusion of bhakti is according to the maturation of both the internal mood and the attitude of seva. In other words, the desire. It's called Krishna Seva Vasana, the desire to serve Krishna. So that desire, coupled with the maturation and the ability to do so, will give an understanding of the sort of connectivity of the activities of the body, the mind, and also internal moods. So in maturation, there's not a difference between external, quote, external activities and internal activities. They're all on the plane of devotional service. Where, on the other hand, there becomes a institutional manipulation of activity in order to maintain the institution, that's another discussion, and I don't want to go into that in particular here. I think it'll prolong my short answers. But, sometimes it's seen that to maintain an institution, you have to get people involved in fundraising and so many different things, and in many other factors, and sometimes that mood of how it is savor to our worshipable objective becomes lost, and the dominant factor becomes the external results. How much money you collected, how much money you donated, how much you're able to facilitate so many services around the temple, and your statuses associated with that. So we don't want to make service like that. We want to keep the internal connection with the manifest activities. You understand? Next thing. I have mentioned, was the question, that I have mentioned that Guru is not really the person, it's a function. Isn't that making Guru impersonal? So let me make some clarifications. In our common parlance, means in our common discussion, we use words like, this is my Gurudev, this is my disciple. So in common parlance, sometimes the true internal reality of that becomes obfuscated. So what I'm saying here is the actual idea of Guru is the function of removing ignorance. Gu Shabdat Andakarasha, Ru Shabdat Andakarasha Nirodhita. This is the definition of Guru. The person who performs that function is sadhu. Jiva Goswami is also described what is a sadhu. Sadnoti sadayati cha Krishna prema iti sadhu. That person who's understood and acts on the principle that the sadvastu, the eternal reality, is Krishna prema. That person is called sadhu. So that person who has that understanding and who imbued with Karun Shakti, means the internal mercy potency, extends their idea of service to Bhagavan in the form of giving Divya Gyan and removing ignorance. That function is called Guru. You understand? If it's the person who's Guru, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur would not have rejected that idea. He told, Thai Sisha Tava Taktiya Sarvada, Guru Abhiman Tyaji. So the word Abhiman means a conception that I am Guru. Guru Abhiman means the conception I am Guru. Why would Bhaktivinoda Thakur reject that idea? Because he's saying the Abhiman I am Guru is detrimental to bhakti. You understand? Because the essential identity in bhakti is dasosmi. And in maturation, dasosmi means I am the servant of Bhagavan. And in maturation, the specificity of that service manifests as a particular kind of relation with Krishna. And the sadhu who performs the function of Guru remains absorbed in that internal identity. I am the Das of Krishna as Palyadasi, as Sakka, as Vatsalya, etc. That's their actual identity. And the idea I am a Guru, you understand, is an abhiman, just like I am black, white, born in this country, this kind of profession, etc. These are abhimans, or self-conceptions, that are imposed from the external energy. So we don't want to transfer into the internal reality the imposition of more abhimans. I'm a great kirtaniya. I'm a great speaker of Harikatha. I am a great servant of the Thakurji. I'm a great guru. You understand? It will become another abhiman in which the obfuscation of the actual identity of the Atma is obfuscated. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and so many others have rejected this idea. You can see in the reluctance even of Loknath Goswami to accept Narottam Das Thakur. And Narottam Das Thakur was glorified by Mahaprabhu at Kanai Natsal when he was going to Vrindavan. Oh Narottam, oh Narottam. And in the Premavati River, Padmavati River, he deposited praying for Narottam Das Thakur. But Loknath Goswami still had hesitancy. I will take him as a disciple. And you also see, how many disciples Rupa Goswami Pad had? Only Jiva Goswami Pad. You understand? And similarly, Loknath Goswami, we don't know of any other disciple except Narottam Das Thakur. On the other hand, Narottam Das Thakur had many, many disciples. But he only saw this is a seva to Guru Parampara. There is no Guru Abhiman. So I'm speaking in that context, that Guru is the function of giving Divya Gyan and removing ignorance. Jiva Goswami Pad has written this in the context of giving Diksha. Divya Gyanam Hyantar Shimanti Mantre Bhagavad Sarup Gyanam Tena Bhagavad Sambandha Visesh. You understand? The Guru at the time of Diksha, he removed Kshiyate Papanasanam, the tendencies for sin and the tendencies for anarthas, right, which obfuscate bhakti, and he does that by giving Dibya Gyan. That Dibya Gyan is called Visesh Sambandha Gyan. It means specific knowledge or orientation of your Atma towards the service of Bhagavan in a particular way. According to the maturation of the aspirant, at that time, they can digest the degree of that Sambandha Gyan. With not only one time people have taken Diksha. That's why Narottam Das Thakur spoke. Chakudan dilo ye, janami janami Prabhu say. My Guru Maharaj has come for me life after life. Understand? Because the process of Diksha is an unfoldment. It is not one-time experience. I took Diksha on such and such a date at such and such a festival, and that was it. Diksha is the process of the unfoldment of the Atma. So it's happened previously also. Praktanaka adunki chasti yasad bhakti vasan. In our bhakti vasan means the impressions of bhakti have come also from previous lives. Praktan means previous lives, and adunik means current life. So the impressions in the Atma have come from both, inclusive of having received Diksha in previous lives. Well, Mukunda, does that mean I don't need to take Diksha in this life? No, because our influence of material energy is so strong from one lifetime to another, the overwhelming nature of the material energy gives forgetfulness of the previous life. And that's really a feature of mercy, because if you had to experience everything from your previous life, you'd also have to experience the material phenomenon, and it may not be pleasant. So Diksha remains as an impression, but that impression is re-stimulated when Diksha is taken again in any given life. And once you consider, as Narottam Das Thakur said, my own Guru Maharaj has manifested again and again to reinvigorate and stimulate this Diksha process, which in some particular life had taken place in the sojourn of the Jiva. So in this life, when they give Diksha, they're giving Dibya Gyan in the form of Sambandha Gyan. What is your relation to Krishna? In giving Harinam, then the Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained, Krishna Shai Tomar, Krishna Diti Paro, Tomara Sokatiyache. Oh, Vaishnav Thakur. This is interesting too, because he says Vaishnav Thakur, not Guru. He says Vaishnav Thakur. You have Krishna. It means that person who's realized Krishna. They've realized Krishna, they have the power to then, in the form of the Nam Roop, to give Krishna in the heart of a disciple. Once they give Krishna in the heart of the disciple, the disciple's objective of worship is now both external in the form of the deity, Radha Govinda, Radha Vallabhju, so many different names of Thakurjis, Radha Madan Mohan, whatever the deities of your heart are. But now also, at the time of Diksha, Gurudev will give relation with Sri Radha and Krishna and Mahaprabhu. You understand? He'll give relation. So at that time, when you're doing your bhajan sadhan, means your practice, as it becomes mature, the seed of that Divya Gyan, that transcendental knowledge, will start to unfold, just like a flower when it begins to bloom. And the inner reality of your identity, your association with Radha and Krishna in a particular way, all of that begins to unfold in maturity. You understand? You cannot impose on that process. In other words, you cannot use what's called kalpana or imagination. Oh, so I'm thinking I'm like this. You understand it? It will not work. Actually, it will create a further obfuscation in the form of what's called sahajavad, prakrita sahajavad. Because I'm trying to impose a narrative on the process. The process is fully competent to give that realization. By chanting Hari Nam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself wrote, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. All the power to reveal everything is in Nam. So you'll chant Nam without aparad and sincerely, with an understanding of the Sambandha Gyan given at the time of Diksha. If that Sambandha Gyan is unclear, then one should approach Guru or any Vaishnava who has some status like Guru, and you have faith, and let them give illumination to your Sambandha Gyan. You understand? But technically at the time of Diksha, Gurudev will give mantra, and they'll also give mantra dhyan, means the meditation of the mantra. In that meditation of the mantra, they'll give some revelation regarding your own identity and the identity of Guru. This is not like what is called Siddha Pranali. Understand? In function it is Siddha Pranali. But it is not the common understanding of what is Siddha Pranali. Siddha Pranali means that there are 11 elements which are the composition of a spiritual identity. Nam, Rup, Vesh, Vyas, Sambandha, Sambandha, Agyay, Seva, Parakashta, Palyadasi Bhav, and Nivasaka. So there are 11 different elements that compose the actual reality, like the name, form, age, your dress, the particular Sambandha with Brijavasis, everything. And then the order, the special order that's given to you, etc. So in this way, there are 11 different elements. Sometimes it is the process in some of the lines coming from Mahaprabhu that at the time of Diksha, those 11 elements are given to a Sishya. Here the difficulty is that at the time of the prominency of this practice, people, when they came to do bhajan, completely renounced everything and came to do bhajan, sadhan. So there was already a degree of maturation there. But in contemporary society, where there's still so much unfolding from anarthas and unwanted things, to go and get an oral idea in the mind, I am this particular associate of Krishna based on hearing Ekadas Bhav. That will simply be transferred into another Abhiman. I am so-and-so in the secular world. I have the initiated name of so-and-so. This is my wife, my house, my car, my job, and my swarup. You understand? It'll simply get filed in the various kinds of self-conceptions we have. So only Jiva Goswami Pad is mentioned Antakaran Sud. When the Antakaran means the subtle body, the chitta, is somewhat pure, then the impression of the Ektas Bhav, either heard from Sri Guru or manifested from the combination of Harikatha, Guru Kripa, and Harinam, right, will become substantive. Other than that, it'll just be another accomplishment. Like you've gained so many accomplishments in the material world, in a spiritual sense, I have a name, I have initiation, and I have Ekadas Bhav. You understand? So we want to be careful not to either misunderstand the process of Siddha Pranali, which is a bona fide thing. Don't conflate that with immature acceptance of Siddha Pranali or giving of Siddha Pranali. Understand? And so there's two different things. So point being here, that in maturation, naturally these things will unfold, but the disciple should understand that at the time of Diksha, then Guru is giving Sambandha Gyan. You have to, in your bhajan sadhan, in your practice, you have to be attentive to the awakening of that Sambandha Gyan. And the only way to do that is to have first artam. I've mentioned this many times. Artha means what I'm doing, what does it mean? I cannot go to the Mangal Arti, sing 8 verses of Guru Ashtakam and 1 Stuti verse, and then not know what they mean. Because if I don't know what they mean, then the practice becomes ritualistic, and that is called Niyamagraha. Rupa Goswami warned against this. Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha or Niyamagraha. Either not following rules and regulations or following them ritualistically. Understand? So I need Artham. What does this mean? And I will hear that in the Harikatha from any high class of sadhu. What is the meaning Guru Ashtakam? Then I can contemplate those meanings. When I'm contemplating those meanings, organically dhyan, absorption, meditation arises in the chitta. You understand? Then the beauty arises in the chitta as well. Chitta means the consciousness. It arises also. And tasting that beauty, one becomes attracted to it and goes deeper. And the reciprocal energy from the spiritual energy, Swarup Shakti, then unfolds the seed of your Diksha and begins to make it blossom. That's why Mahaprabhu told to Sanatana Goswami, first is quoted, Brahmana Brahmati Kona Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Poi, Bhakti Lata Bij. So one should get the Bij of Bhakti. Right? I've explained this before, so I'm not going into detail here. But then Mahaprabhu told, Mali Kanase Bij Aropan, Shravan Kirtane Jale Koriye Shekan. That you should take that seed, plant it, and water it with Shravan and Kirtan. You understand? Chanting and hearing Harinam and Harikatha from high class of Vaishnavas waters that seed. That causes the seed to grow. Mahaprabhu goes on to give an elaborate description of the blossoming of that seed, how the creeper grows, how it has to be protected from upasakas, means weeds, unwanted things, unwanted association, unwanted ideas, unwanted habits, and then especially to be protected from the mad elephant of Vaishnav aparad. And then that plant will grow and eventually reach the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Understand? So, it's extremely important that we understand what is the function of Guru, and for anybody who is doing a seva in parampara of giving Harinama Diksha, they will also tell you, if they are very mature, that I don't want Guru Abhiman. You understand? The relationship between any aspirant and any mentor is really one of love. Because Guru is giving their whole heart, disciples giving their whole heart. This is called Vishrambena Guru Seva. Rupa Goswami, when he wrote the 64 Angas of Bhakti, he mentioned Guru Padasraya, Tata Diksha Shikshari, Sadhu Vatmanu Guru Padasraya, Tata Diksha Shikshari, Vishrambena Guru Seva. Then Sadhu Vatmana Vatmanam. Understand? That Vishrambena Guru Seva means the intimacy of heart between the Sishya and the person performing the function of Guru. You understand? So it is not really just a romanticized, idealistic idea of, among other things that I have in my life, I have a Guru. You understand? So it's a heart-to-heart connection. In that heart-to-heart connection, the internal potency, Swarup Shakti, can flow. I've mentioned before, this is expressed in one verse in Bhagavatam, Satam Prasanga Mamavirya Samvido. The word samvad means the Harikatha given by a sadhu, Satam. When the hearer or the aspirant is surrendered, Saranagat. Understand? Saranagat means those 6 things: doing what is favorable for Krishna, rejecting what's unfavorable, considering Krishna my protector and maintainer, having humility and giving one's complete self. These are the 6 elements of Saranagati. When a person is Saranagat like that, and they're giving their whole heart to Sadhu Guru, at that time when Satam Prasanga takes place, the word Prasanga means Prakrisht Rupain. In Sanskrit, this prefix means complete. Sangha means Samyak Rupain Anugamana. It means the complete ability for the aspirant and the mentor to exchange Mama Virya. The word Mama Virya here means Krishna's Shakti, his power. It flows through sadhu into the aspirant. You understand? The sadhu is via medium. Paramasvatantra Bhagavad Bhakta Jatakripa Mangalodaya, it's mentioned that the internal energy, Bhakti Shakti, empowers the Bhagavad Bhakta in order to be a dispensing mechanism for Swarup Shakti. That Swarup Shakti is the power that both removes ignorance and gives enlightenment into spiritual reality. So that was a little longer than I would have liked, but this is the actual meaning of Guru. Gu Shabdat Andakarasha, Ru Shabdat Andakarasha Nirodhita. This is the actual meaning. You understand? The idea I am Guru is an Abhiman, and I've already explained, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has told Guru Abhimana Tyaji, that this Guru Abhiman should go very far away. You understand? And any sadhu who's performing that function, it is mentioned, Gyanatva Ganadobhavet, in 11th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Anadi Avidya Yuktasha Purushasha Vedatmanam, Swato Na Sambhavanti, because the jiva can't extricate themselves from Maya. Anya requires another. Gyanatva Ganadobhavet. So Gyanatva means they are empowered in realization by Bhakti Shakti. And Gyanadha means the capacity for Karun Shakti of the Bhakti Shakti to shine through that makes them amenable to sharing that influence with any aspirant. Understand? So this was my meaning by Guru is the function, not the person. You understand? The sadhu is the person who's performing the function of Gurutva. You understand? Having the quality of Gurutva, meaning dispensing ignorance and giving transcendental knowledge. Next question. I went really long on that, so I may have to cut short because I do have some other services to do. I have to look on the phone for the other question. The other question was about the discussion on Sri Shukdev Goswamiji. That I told my Guru Pada Padma, many other high class of Vaishnavas throughout history, not only contemporary, have spoken that Sri Shukdev Goswami is the Lila Sukh of Srimati Radharani. It is directly mentioned in Gopal Champu. There's reference in Ananda Vrindavan Champu of Kavi Kanapur. And of course, the Mool Praman for this is in Srimad Bhagavatam. I've reached out to very stalwart devotees also to get some reply, and I did get some help with that. And then miraculously, I found a whole class on Shukdev Goswami. So it just was reaffirming that what things I had gleaned from Guru Sadhu Sastra were correct. So, because I have high regard for this particular sadhu. I don't like to mention names only because I don't have permission per se. That sadhu may not want their name mentioned. I don't know. This is the point. But anyway, the Mool Praman for this, which I understood originally, was that in Srimad Bhagavatam it is mentioned, Sri Sukuvacha. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the Mool Praman, spotless Praman for all the teachings of Mahaprabhu. Our entire Goswami Varga based all their writings on Srimad Bhagavatam. Whether it is the first Granth of Goswamis, Sanatana Goswami Pad, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, all Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, all Ujjwal Nilamani, everything based in the Praman, all writings of our Goswami Varga on Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, Srila Jiva Goswami's Satsandarbhas, which are the philosophical wall of Siddhant, protecting the teachings of our Goswamis and Mahaprabhu, only based on Srimad Bhagavatam, is Mool Praman. Understand? Everything in Satsandarbhas based on Srimad Bhagavatam. Understand? So, there, Sri Sukuvacha, directly telling that Shukdev Goswami is the Sukh of Sri. Sanatana Goswami Pad is commented on the first verse of Rasa Leela. Shri Bhadrayani Vacha. Right? What is this? Bhagavat Apitara Tri Sar Utpalika Malika Viksham Lantu Manasachakre Mayayam or Yoga Maya Upasritam. Understand? This is the first verse of Ras Panchadhyaya. And here he's mentioning Shri Bhadrayani Vacha. So Bhadrayani means the son of Bhadrayan means Vyasadeva. But he mentions here Shri Bhadrayani Vacha or Shri Sukhu Vacha means Shri Yukta Sukha or Shri Yukta Bhadrayani. Shri Yukta, who's connected to Sri. He's speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. So, I mentioned that this is not really such a huge issue, but it has come to light in that some people want praman. Where is it written that Radha and Krishna asked Shukdev Goswami to remain in this world to give Srimad Bhagavatam? So there was one verse that I did not quote in the presentation because it was becoming somewhat long. And that's how to understand one verse which is written in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vrindavananiyam rasakeli vartam kalena lupta nija sakti ukta sancharya rupe vyatano punasa prabhu vido prageva loka shishti. So here he's saying Mahaprabhu's giving power to Sri Rupa Goswami Pad, that all of the places of Vrindavan, all of the Leela Stans of Vrindavan, and the moods inherent in those places have been lost. So I'm giving you power, Nija Sakti Ukta, that you can revive these holy places and you can write all about the different moods, which are the intrinsic quality of all of these holy places. Because in the course of time, Kalena looked, they've become lost. Looked means lost. In the course of time, they've become lost. So I'm empowering you in order to reestablish Vrindavanam and the Rasakeli Varitam. All of the teachings of Raskeli. What are all the teachings of the Ras of Braj? You can write these things. Especially, you can write what is the nature of Adi Ras. Like in Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmadhyashayata means Janma Adi Rasa, means Shringara Rasa. So, Rupa Goswami Pad wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu up to the basic description of Shringara Rasa, then wrote whole Ujjalinamani explaining the depth of what is Shringara Rasa. So, one question comes, first before I make the other point, that Sri Rupa Goswami Pad is Sri Rup Manjari. So, what empowerment did Mahaprabhu give to him? If he's Rup Manjari, he is completely acquainted, taratmik, with the heart of Radhika. What would he need to understand all these things? So two things are here. One is that the Shakti that was given to Rupa Goswami Pad, especially, is called Darya Dharan Shakti. So Darya Dharan Shakti means the power to hold his patience. To hold his patience while he was able to reveal. Yan Kali Rupa Sharira Nadarata Tan Raja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika. The vast amount of prem ras which was contained in the appearance of Mahaprabhu, which he wanted to make available to the world, that was hidden in a deep chest. So he gave Rupa Goswami the power to open that chest and reveal all of the sweetness of this prem ras in a way that the masses of people could come in contact with the sadhu. You understand? And come in contact with true Vaishnava sadhu, they can get the blessings to have experience of this. You understand? But if that chest had remained closed, if Rupa Goswami had not opened that chest, how would we know about the glory of Radhika's Mahabhav? How would we know about the different divisions of Rasa Siddhant? So, now, the other point being, he empowered Rupa Goswami, Darya Dharan Shakti, to hold his patience while he described all of these things. In this verse it also says, Sanchaya Rupe Vyatanot Punasa Prabhu Vido. So Prabhu means, Mahaprabhu himself means Bhagavan. Previously, Prag Eva Lokashishtim. Previously, in the creation, he also empowered Prabhu Vido. He also empowered Lord Brahma with Rasa Brahman and the ability to carry out his seva of the Shrishti Leela. The secondary part of Shrishti Leela is Brahma's creation. Atra Visagascha, Stanaposanutaya, etc. If you read the 10 categories of Bhagavatam, one is the subsequent creation. The main creation, subsequent creation is done by Brahma. So Brahma received power to do that. But here, in Bhagavatam itself, is mentioning Tane Brahma Riddha Adhikavaye. So here, Tane means like to expand, Tanoti. He expanded in the heart of Adhikavi, Rasa Brahman. The word Brahma here doesn't mean Brahma, it means Brahman, means Rasa Brahman. The nature of the teachings of what is Braj Prem, everything. He imparted it Hridaya in the heart of Adi Kavi. If you read the Tika of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur part, he mentions Adi Kavi here not only refers to Brahma, it also even refers to Bharata Muni, the author of Nata Sastra. It also refers to Brahma, obviously, but it also refers to Shukdev Goswami. So here it's saying that previously I also empowered Shukadev Goswami to do Vrindavaniyam Rasakeli Vartam after Radha and Krishna left this world, to make sure that the teachings regarding Radha and Krishna, their Leela, their Dham, everything would remain. He also empowered Adi Kavi, meaning Shukdev Goswami. So here is your Praman. But I brought up the other point because though they empowered Shukadev Goswami, it is mentioned, Radha Nama Prachanena Mochita Sanmasiko Bhavet. They didn't give Dharya Dharan Shakti. Therefore, Shukdev Goswami, when he was writing, he had to be very cautious that I will not directly mention the name of Radhika, because Sanatana Goswami Pad is written in Brihad Bhagavatamrita in the first canto, 7th chapter, I think verses 156, 157, 158. He's written that he was Krishna Rasavishta, completely absorbed in Krishna Ras. But even though he could mention the name of Krishna, Rukmini, even the name of other gopis, he could not mention the name of one gopi because he would become soul disturbed. So here we have all the evidences regarding the position of Sri Shukdev Goswami. Understand? So I did not quote this verse in there because it was going very long and I felt there was sufficient praman. And again, I'm only operating in the mode of seva to what has already been established by our Guru Vargas. You understand? And I don't have any, what should I say? This is not an argument. You understand? These are devotees who are in a healthy way trying to understand, in presenting the idea that Shukdev Goswami is the Leela Sukha of Radhika. Where is praman for this? Because if they're speaking it in Harikatha, obviously they want to have some surety that it can be backed up by Sastra praman. Also, there were others who took a more opposite view of this idea, saying, no, it's not written in Sastra, and quoting from other sadhus that the position of Shukadev Goswami was such and such. But if you really look at what was written, it's more anecdotal because it's based on conversations or a darshan more than an actual ongoing conversation by either person. One person's quote is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur speaking to one Pandit from Assam. The other is our Pujapad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shri Goswami Maharaj in a darshan setting. So we don't have an ongoing ability to see the fullness of the perspective that either Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Srila Sridhar Maharaj had in speaking about Shukdev Goswami, because you're talking about two snapshots in time. You understand? So we don't do that. Just like if you take a snapshot in time, our Srila Prabhupada mentioned, we are all originally Krishna conscious beings. You understand? But two things here. One is, if you take only the English parlance, we are all originally Krishna conscious, and you also take that particular time period of Srila Prabhupada, whom he's speaking to, at what level of bhakti everyone is at, and you make a Siddhantic idea. Srila Prabhupada said we were all originally Krishna conscious, therefore we must have fallen from the spiritual world. You understand what I'm saying? So we cannot take anecdotal evidence or snapshot evidence and extend that into the idea of Siddhanta. You understand? Because obviously we have Srila Prabhupada on other occasions clearly saying that in reference to Jai and Vijay, it should be concluded unless there's something to be done on behalf of the Lord, no one falls from Vaikuntha. So you have to reconcile, and the way to do that is the vetting process of Guru Sadhu Sastra, and you'll see all of our Guru Vargas have mentioned the same thing. It is not possible for a relationship with Krishna to be broken and one to fall from the Nitya Dham into the material world. Okay? Also, the verse that I quoted earlier gives the definition of how the jivas are in the world. Anadiya Vijayuktasha. But I don't want to go down that path. That wasn't what this was supposed to be about. So I think And fortunate or unfortunate, I ended up spending more time than I really had allowed. This was supposed to be short Q&A based on certain questions. So obviously I was unable to get to some of the things that were written in, but I did hopefully give some depth of explanation to the things that were written in, and maybe above and beyond, so to speak, by the mercy of my Guru Padapadma and our Guru Vargas. So again, devotees, thank you very much. I'm always appealing for the blessing of the Vaishnavis, that you'll give me your kripa to go on in the service of my Guru Padapadma. Jai Vanchakalpatarubhisha Kripa Shinduvevacha Patitya Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Radhe Radhe.